Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Vlog. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I'm really excited to bring you 4 new slimline stencils. They're brand new for Paper Wishes and they fit perfectly on the new slimline cards that we are carrying. So slimline cards, if you're not familiar with those, they're just all the rage right now, and they're an 8.5 by 3.5 inch thin card that fits perfectly over these stencils, or rather the stencil fits over the card. These are all designed by Paper Wishes' friend Deanna Pennell, and she did these great ones called Puzzle Stencil, Interlinked Stencil, Double Diamond Stencil, and the Quadrifoil Stencil. So let's get right to it, and I'm going to show you how these work, and you don't always have to use them on slimline, and I'll show you that too. So the first card we've got here, this is one that my friend Debbie made, which is just gorgeous. She used the puzzle stencil with this one. And let me show you exactly how she went about doing this. And I'm going to make a huge mess, so we're going to need our craft mat. And Debbie actually used smoked paprika ink over sort of this light yellow cardstock. And one thing I will definitely tell you that is very nice to use with these stencils is the Stick and Spray Repositional Adhesive Spray. It makes it so easy to use any stencil, and I'm going to be using it on all of these today. So I've gone ahead and I've put some on my stencil, and I'm just going to lay it right over the top of that, making sure that the edges are aligned. You don't want it to be kind of askew. Go. And then I like to use just a little bit of low tack tape to keep everything in place. And you don't need much. And this is great stuff by Hunky Dory. It's perfect to use for stencils and to keep cutting dies in place. But you could also use washi tape or drafting tape, anything that has a low tack to it. And I'm going to be using the blender brushes, my favorite brushes. They come 3 to a pack, 3 different sizes. I'm just going to use the middle size one. And we've got our smoked paprika here. Just going to do a little bit of blotting. And then you're just going to start off in a little circular motion. I'm not going to do the entire thing because of sake of time here, but we'll do this end so you can get the idea that this smoked paprika, which is a really kind of a nice barn red color, dark brown red, when it's placed over this yellow, it kind of has this nice pinky red color. And I love that she kind of played with that on that yellow cardstock. She also used some really beautiful butterfly dazzles, which I'll show you in a moment. And then around the entire card, she used red jewel border dazzles. All right, so we've got that end here so you can see how that's looking. See, and that stencil just kind of peels right off of that, and it's repositional. So if you find you peel it off and you're like, oh, I didn't really get that spot right there, you can just put it right back down and it'll stick in place, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is clean off my brush, because if you've watched my videos before, you know I always clean them as I go because I'll use it again in a few minutes, and if I haven't cleaned it, then I'll get the wrong color on the wrong project. All right, so that's that one. Now let me show you what else she used on this adorable card. She used the Script Greetings cutting dies for her Happy Hello, and here are the red jewel border dazzles she used around the edges. I should mention too that she covered her card with red cardstock and then cut this yellow down just a little bit smaller to fit there. And of course you used the black one here. Okay, so she used from these 117 butterfly dazzles. I should show you all these great colors that you get. She peeled this one off, and then she just trimmed off the little swirl. There we go. She trimmed off the little swirl here, matted her butterfly on red, and then used the swirl under that. I thought was a great idea. And then she used these little swirls here on the sheet in the corner. Very cute. All right, let's take a look at this next card. I'm going to use my craft mat again, so I'm just going to keep it here. This one, she used the interlinked stencil, okay? And this one, she did some embossing on her card. So, grab this one. So she used some clear embossing powder, and I'll show you how she did that. Took her card. Okay, and I didn't actually spray this one because I have one already set here. But she used the translucent clear ink pad, and some people, you could either just take the surface of the pad, and some people are like fond of doing it like this. I would recommend this stencil is pretty intricate to go ahead and apply it with a brush just like you would any ink, so that it gets all the areas filled in. Also, because this particular stencil has these thin lines on it, using the stencil spray is really crucial on this, because you don't want these to move around on you when you are actually inking the stencil. So once she did that and she got it all inked, then just remove the stencil, and then she used clear embossing powder from Stampendous, and this one is clear transparent embossing powder, sprinkled that all over the surface and used the heat gun or tapped off the excess first, and then use the heat gun to get this really nice glossy clear image on there. So once we've got to that point, then we're going to take some, where are they? Here we go, right in front of me. Ink pads. So she used water reactive Harmony ink pads. She didn't use them for their water reactive properties, but just for the color. She used the Honey Pot, the orange, and the Chinese red. And as you can see here, turned it this way and just went across each with a different color. And before I show you that technique, I'm going to also show you what else she used on this card. So she used, here we go, for her little labels here, she used 8 labels for your greetings cutting dies from hot off the press. Cut each of those out of white cardstock. She did a little matting on each, and then used the blender brush and the ink pads to color each one a different color. And then she used these great Happy Birthday dazzles. She used the black ones in this set, but as you can see, there's just every finish and color that you would ever need there. All right, and so let's get to the coloring part. So she started off with the Honey Pot. Get these in order. All right, and started off like this, getting a nice rich color, and you can see that that color just gets picked up beautifully on the areas that is not embossed. Okay, so what is being colored is the actual card base. All right, so I'm not going to change colors. I mean, I don't need to wipe my brush off when I change colors, because I'm going to go from yellow to orange, just a darker color, and I want that to kind of blend right in. This is going to be sort of in the middle range here. All right, and then we're going to move from that orange to the Chinese red, which is much darker. And just gives a real pop of color there. So as you can see, that's just a really fun and easy technique to do, and could be done with any one of these stencils. All right. Oh, I should also mention she added some little gold jewel dazzle stickers and made little patterns that are different on each one, which I thought was adorable. For this next card, Debbie used the quatrefoil stencil, and she also used the birds, branches, and birdhouse cutting dies from hot off the press. And she cut each one of these several times so that she could paper piece them. So she cut them out of green, looks like chocolate brown, blue, a pastel blue, and then white, and then just cut them out from those each individual pieces, inked them a little bit, and layered them. I thought that was so cute. Used one of the script greetings dazzles there. And let me see. Oh yeah, the colors that she used for her background. She used the Dusty Rose and the Camilla Pink. Very cute. And started off with the Dusty Rose and worked her way up to the top here. I'm feeling like she used another color. Yes, she did. I was covering it up. The Flamingo Paradise. So I believe that it goes like this all the way to the top. She started with the Dusty Rose, then she went to the Flamingo, and then she went to the Camilla Pink. And just inking those and blending them in between. So I did want to show you that you don't always need to use the slimline cards in order to use these stencils. So for this particular one, this is a 6.5 by 5-inch card, and I'm going to show you how I did this. Once again, I've got my little stencil spray on my stencil. I'm going to go ahead and place that right over here. I wanted to go off the edge because for this card, you don't want to use any of those hard edges along the borders. So put a little bit more of our tape down, keep everything secure. Oops, I actually got the card. You don't want to actually tape the card because then you'll get the piece of tape on there. So do it like this. All right. So got our blender brush, and then I'm using, this is from Prism, this is the Ombre ink pad in blues. Got 3 different shades there. And you can see here I started from the top and went from the dark to the light. I also used for my leaves, the Bigger Leaves and Ferns cutting die, cut that from pastel green. And then I also used the Country Blooms, and this color is Cloud, just a nice little off-white color. Just a little bit of aqua turquoise sheer ribbon. And then I added the Blue Shimmer Diamond Sparkles. This one has, well, 2 shades of blue and a nice black in there to use. So I added those around. And then You Make Me Happy. This is the Creative Expressions Mini Expressions cutting die, which I cut from, gosh, Diamond Sparkles paper. I've got so much stuff on my desk today. Here we go. Here we go. And I cut it from the shimmer cardstock. This is Sky Blue. And just use just a little bit of glue. You could also use little sticky dots on there too. All right, so I'm going to start with the darker shade of blue, going along the top edge. Okay. Then I'm going to start going down into the middle section here and kind of blending that all together. I'm going to get this side a little bit better. Oh, I didn't blot, and you can see, I had somebody ask me recently, why do you blot in between? Because if you don't, you get a nice little thing right there. But we're going to cover that up with our leaves, so I think we'll be fine. All right, now I'm going down to that lighter color. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just letting this fade out. Now I'm staying away from this sharp edge right here because I don't want to cover all of these little compartments here on the stencil with color. I want some of them to get a little bit of color and some no color at all. And that's how it just slowly fades from, just don't like how it looks on the top, so we're going to fix that. If I can get a little darker up here. There we go. A little bit better. I'm just blending that down to the lighter color. All right, now we're going to see how it just goes from a darker shade to a lighter shade, and we don't have that really sharp edge right here. We just sort of blend it out when we got to that point. Okay, now clean that brush off. Boy, it only takes me one time, I hope, of putting dark blue on a pink card before I remember to clean it off each time. Okay, so this last card is a really beautiful card, and it's going to be really messy. Here we go. So I'm going to keep the craft mat out. There we go. And for this card, Debbie used the double diamond. Go. And she also used, here we go. This is Cosmic Shimmer Luna Paste, and this particular one is Moonlight Pearl. And on the black, it looks really silver. I just think that's stunning. So Debbie used, for her embellishments here, she used the bigger leaves and ferns. She also used, for her little label here, she used the 8 labels for your greetings from black. She also used some Thank You Dazzle stickers, which are just great because they come in all these different colors again. And she used the silver here. Okay. And she also used the bigger blooms cutting dies for her flowers. And also some purple jewel dazzle stickers right here. Okay, so let's get at this. So I've got my background all set here. Go. And here is my stencil. And I wanted to show you guys, now that we're almost done, how I go ahead about spraying on this adhesive. Okay, so it works pretty much just like hairspray. I would advise doing this outside because it is pretty smelly stuff. Okay, and just comes off with a little scrub of soap and water. And we've got a slimline card here covered with black cardstock. And we're going to go ahead and put right over top. And we're going to secure that with a little bit of stencil tape. Go for a walk when we're doing this. And then a couple of really helpful tools. Just a good old-fashioned palette knife. This is a new product for us, and I love that it's, you know, metal and a wood handle. It's going to last a really long time. And then also, we've got a stencil pal. If you've seen these before, we used to have them in white, and now we have them in paper, which is purple, just Paulette's favorite color. So I like to use the palette knife just to scoop off what I need here. Oh, it looks like this one has a little bit of blue mixed into it. I think we just got a little sloppy, but we'll just mix that in. It's unintentional. All right, and and I'm just going to put some right here. And then once I get that on, I'm going to use the stencil pal and just bring that right down across the surface, making sure that I get enough at the top. What's great about the stencil pal is it's the same, you know, it's wider than the stencil, so it's really covering well. Oops, I put my thumb right in there. And this technique is just, I mean, I think it's really imperative that we're using the stencil spray. It means all the difference between having it seep under and, you know, you're going to all this work and all this mess, and then you have it seep under your stencils. So that is just no fun. All right, some little thin spots there. Okay, now we're gonna release that tape. There we go. And that stencil spray really did its work. That right there. All right. And then Debbie went about making her flowers, and she used, if you want the exact ink colors and things for her flowers, make sure you check our project gallery and click on this photo, and then you'll get a whole supply list of every color that she used to create her flowers as well. So you guys, we have got a great money saver on these stencils. So if you look on the money saver, if you're watching us on our vlog page, just look on the right side of the screen and you will see that money saver. And I'm gonna try to get all this out of the way. And if you're watching us on our YouTube page, then just go ahead and click on the links in the description box below the video. And there's also a link to paperwishes.com where you will find more videos and fun things to play with. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.